So let's recap for a bit if you're not really up to speed on the joy it is to watch this guy break down. So here's the original tweet. So first, Andrew Tate, if you could see it there, he's like, "Hello, Greta Thunberg." Again, he's the one that started this. Let's just get this clear. Okay. "Hello, Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has this turbo. My 2 Ferraris have that nonsense. This is just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions." So then Greta tweets back, retweets it, says, "Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldenergy@getalife.com." Okay, so that's how it started. And everyone was giving Greta the win. I think RJ actually sent me, and I apologize I didn't pull it, his Wikipedia page even put a loss for him in his kickboxing career. A loss was Greta because everyone was just hilariously laughing at him. Now, the latest news, of course, is the fact that he's been rearrested. Now, it was several months ago this year that police had come to his home, and we'll get into that. There's basically rumors that he's sexually exploiting people, trafficking people, things like that. But let's stick with Greta because this is the hilarious part. The guy tries to re-own a 19-year-old, okay? And so what does he do? He doesn't tweet. He sends a video, which is just even better, okay? It's just even better. So here we go. This is the a-hole, Andrew Tate.
Releasing greenhouse gases. I'm obviously a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, "I have small dick energy." Why would that be your own email address, Greta? Strange. I mean, also, I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50, but it is what it is. I'm not actually mad at Greta. Please bring me pizza and make sure that the boxes are not recycled. Thank you.
Okay, so just have to be clear. Remember, he just said, "Remember, this box can't be recycled," because that's hilarious. But now, let's continue.
So I'm not actually mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot.
Oh, stop.
And then, because I called her out on it, the global Matrix got this bot farm to like and retweet and all this bot commenting to try and pretend that her telling me that she has a small dick in her own email address somehow teaches me a lesson.
He can't handle it. That's what this whole video is about, by the way. The whole video is he can't handle, because he does have small D energy. He can't handle the fact that he was totally owned by a 19-year-old. Everybody that read Greta's tweet, they didn't think that she was talking about herself, Andrew Tate. She was talking about you, and everybody knew it. But let's continue.
Welcome to a new episode of The Clown Show. Mm-hmm. But now I know, at least, that Greta, with a little hate-filled face,
talk about
bitter,
faces,
sitting somewhere without the heating on, in the cold, a little hat, shivering, use my tweets, which is going to make my Twitter account far more fun into eternity.
The guy is a douchebag, just to put it bluntly. All right? I mean, talk about faces. So, what happens? Did you guys notice? Did you guys notice everything about it? She writes, "This is what happens when you don't recycle your pizza boxes." Why would she say that? Because the pizza box that was in front of him apparently helped Romanian authorities realize that he's still in Romania. So because he just couldn't handle being owned by a 19-year-old, he had to post a video in which he had to have somebody bring him a pizza box where the name of the pizza place was on, and authorities apparently used part of it, some of it, who knows, although they're denying it. Of course, Tate's people are denying it, to identify the fact that he's still there. And so they go to his house, of course, and they arrest his ass. And it's hilarious that he owned himself. He got himself arrested. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, if there wasn't a face, and I'm talking about his and not hers, that you do just want to see get owned, it is him. Now, again, who is this guy? And let's welcome Kim McAllister. I know you touched on this.
Happy New Year. Woohoo!
Happy New Year. I'm going slow on my cup over here because I know you probably didn't hear the opening, Kim, but in this cup, I'm dosing mushrooms.
What? Are you really?
I am. And so this will be
world?
So this is the Friday food segment. I'm slowly drinking it so that by the time after, let's see, in about 15, 20 minutes, I can give you a real up-to-date
like
review.
Psychedelic mushrooms? I'm going to have to take over the show. You're going to have a bad trip.
I'll let you know. How could I ever have a bad trip when I'm here with you? But anyways, so I'm talking about Andrew Tate because this is the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. Now, my husband informed me of the latest last night, that he had been arrested. Now, again, if you want to know who Andrew Tate really is and what he does, he has this company called the Hustlers University, where he claims more than 160 users pay a subscription to learn about cryptocurrencies, investing in businesses. But that's not all. That is not all. This is Andrew Tate's own posts about what he claims he does. And I'm going to put this up and hopefully, here we go.
What the naked ladies in there?
This is what he writes. I have been running a webcam studio for nearly a decade. I've had over 75 girls work for me and my businesses. I'm sorry, my thing is covering my stupid banner. Hold on. I want to clear that banner for me real quickly so I can see. There we go. 75 girls work for me and my business model is different than 99% of webcam studio owners. Over 50% of my employees were actually my girlfriend at the time. Oh, and of all of my girlfriends, none were in the adult entertainment industry before they met me. Now look at him. I mean, these are the images that he's posting. These are his girlfriends. Then he goes on to, he writes this. What did I learn in this job? First thing, keeping 4 girlfriends all happy is hard work and leaves you with very little time. So you learn how to streamline getting new good girlfriends. All women are not created equal. This is how I came up with what is now the PhD system. I learned the most efficient way to meet girls, get them through the dating process, get them to bed, test if they're a good girl or not, and begin the process of them falling deeper and deeper into love. That is my skill, all caps, to extremely efficiently get women in love with me. That's it. And no one else on the internet is teaching this. No one. What the hell?
What is there some mad? I don't understand. I
mean, it's insane. You know what this reminds me of? Honestly, when I was reading that whole description, R. Kelly, right? He gets these girls to fall in love with them. He promises them all the world. And so these women are claiming and have gone to the authorities saying that they've been exploiting them. They've been forced to perform pornographic acts and that he used them. He recruited them and he trafficked them and raped them. And so these are real crimes that this guy is being accused of, but he's laughing about it, Kim. He's totally laughing about it. And then, of course, because of course he would, an old interview that Tucker Carlson had with Andrew Tate is being surfaced. Now, this again, I'm going to reiterate this over and over again. This interview is not now. This interview happened back in August. So this is Tucker Carlson talking with Andrew Tate.
U.S. Embassy in Bucharest, Romania, was tipped off to your misdeeds and alerted the local authorities you might be committing human trafficking. given that this is the same charge they leveled against Julian Assange or a species of it, skeptical, but I want to know the details. Were you arrested for human trafficking? What happened?
Yeah, I was not arrested. So what happened is I suffered from a case of swatting. It's very popular with people who are large on the internet. Many large YouTubers have been swatted. It's where you call the police and you say somebody has a gun or there's a hostage situation and the SWAT team arrives. Somebody made a phone call to the American embassy saying that I was holding women at my house. The police arrived. And let me state this now. I state this openly to the world. I have absolute respect for the police. I would hate to live in a country where if you call the police saying women are being held against their will, that the police don't respond. That would be terrible. Of course they should come and look. Absolutely. They turned up. They investigated. They realized that nobody was in the house against their will. There was no crime committed. They said, okay, you're not a suspect, but you are a witness to this, along with me, my brother, the housekeeper, the gardener. Everybody who was in the premises at the time was labeled a witness. We had to go to the police station for 45 minutes for pieces of paper. We filled them in and we were let go. I was swatted. Nobody was hurt.
Right. Nobody was hurt. But that's not the allegations that these women are claiming. Now, again, Tucker Carlson, that was back in August. So that's not currently. But this is also what Tucker Carlson had to say, because God forbid you should believe women, Tucker.
So why don't they want you to hear from Andrew Tate? They really think he's a worse influence on the youth than, say, Cardi B. Tell us how. They're telling us he's a criminal. Okay. Has he been charged? Who are the victims? What are their names?
Well, they have names. They've come forward. He has been detained. They're trying to extend the arrest warrant for him to 30 days, and a decision will be made later today. I don't know if it's already been made, but he has been detained in Romania. So again, what started out with him trying to own Greta Thunberg has once again led to Greta owning him, and not just with the pizza boxes tweet, which was awesome. But did you know? And this is just, I kept Googling it and I'm like, this can't really be true, but apparently it is, that the name of the organization that urged European authorities to effectively prosecute human traffickers is the Group of Experts Against Trafficking Human Beings, or GRETA. So Greta apparently has owned Andrew Tate, not Tate, in more than one way. So
he's clearly tainted.
That's one definition of it, Kim. Absolutely. So yeah,
I went high, okay?
I go low with him. I'm just going as low as I can. I have to get a little bit to his level. But yeah,
I mean, obviously you're innocent until proven guilty, but what an absolute utter scumbag.
Yes.
And cheers to the fact that he's behind bars.
Yes, cheers indeed. I honestly did not know this guy. I had never heard of him
before yesterday. Never.
I had never heard of him, but apparently, and
that's how much of an influencer he is, I guess.
But he does obviously have some sort of following. He does, because he's making all this money, and he feeds on what I would believe are male insecurities. Oh, it's and a hatred of women. I do believe men like him hate women. You cannot have all of these girlfriends that you are, training to love you, testing them if you really care about women. So, raising incels to blame women for the fact that they can't get laid is his thing, and that's all. I feel sorry for him, and I hope they throw the damn book at him. Honestly,
I don't feel sorry for him. He's a scumbag. He deserves everything that's coming his way.
Well, exactly. I mean, I guess I feel sorry that he's like that. You know what I mean? Like, I wish he was a better person, but he's not. Yeah. He's an ass. No. So I do hope that he goes to jail for a very long time, but who knows what the law is in Romania.
When I first read the story, it was that he was a man's rights influencer.
That's just, I hate women. That's code for I hate women.
So I don't know if that was like a man's rights. So I my first thought was like, when you go to court and men sometimes feel that they get the raw deal in court when you're talking about child custody and divorce and what have you. So that's what I was thinking. It turns out he's talking man stuff on a whole level that's
No, Yeah, so people like him just need to go away. It's not healthy for society. It's not healthy to, boys, young men who listen to people like this. That's absolutely ridiculous.
And why would you have to teach people how to have women fall in love with you? Like, what is
Because
that
there's
about?
because there's men and
That's like a
young.
scam. That's not falling in love. That's scamming people.
But that's what they think it is. I mean, Kim, okay. And I've gone down not very deep, but kind of that incel mentality rabbit hole on like Reddit and things like that.
Yeah.
And from what I gather, and I am not an expert, they get these young men to believe that the reason why you don't have the life you want or the woman you want or why that chick that you like never talks to you, it's not you. It's
Mm,
them. And I'm
of
going to
course.
teach you some tricks of what to say and how to act. And they want you to be in control. And even if they say no, they really mean yes because women play games and all of this friggin' nonsense. And they don't realize it that doesn't work. That it's okay to tell a guy no and it's okay to be rejected. And it sucks and it hurts, but there's so many people in this world. Look elsewhere. Find people that have the same, interests
Mhm.
as you. Don't look at a woman and be like, "You're my ideal woman and because you don't like me, it's your fault." No, man. It's just the way the cookie crumbles and not every woman's going to be attracted to you no matter, how much you shave your head or be a douche or act like this Andrew Tate guy. It ain't going to work on all women.
I
So,
feel like I have to say that I was raised to be really polite, you know?
right? And you
And
are, and you
and it
are.
was but it was always really hard for me to say no, even though if I didn't wanna go on a date or if I didn't wanna do something, it was really hard for me to hurt the other person's feelings. That saying no,
Right.
that, "Okay, well, what's the big deal if you go? You don't hurt the person's feelings, and then you just don't have to talk to him again, whatever." That's never the way to approach it. It was always
No.
wrong, and so feeling like that, I've tried to teach my daughter that you don't ever have to acquiesce to someone else, that you don't ever
Mhm.
have to be, so polite that you bend to their will.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I
Exactly.
feel like that's an important lesson to teach our kids.
You
At least
know,
it was for me. You probably never had that problem. I had that
Well
problem.
well, what's funny is, as you were talking, I was remembering this story, and it's a quite a personal story. I was young. I was a freshman in high school. I just started dating. And I'll never forget it. This guy asked me out and he was kind of friends with my brother. They went to the same high school. So I think he was
Mhm,
like in between grades. My brother's 2 years younger, so he would have been a junior if I was a freshman. I think the guy was a sophomore. And he picked me up and he took me to a movie. And I'll remember he was just like all over me, like
mhm.
all over me. And it was kind of uncomfortable. I liked him kind of, but I was just getting to know him. But he wasn't like touching me inappropriately, but like was kissing me constantly,
Yeah.
and it was just a bit uncomfortable. I'll never forget we were sitting next to this woman and I remember looking at her and her giving me this look like, "Are you okay?" And finally I was able to be like, there's people here, like there's
Right.
making out at movies, and then there's like, dude, like calm the hell
Keep
down,
your
right?
tongue to yourself for 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and so,
Mhm.
the rest of the date was fine. I went home, I made it fine. Well, he goes, I'll never forget this. He started telling stories, okay? And not necessarily that we had sex, but that it had gone farther than it did. And I heard about it. And there was a dance at my high school and the boys had come and my brother was there and this guy was there. And I remember I walked up to him and I ripped him a new butthole up and down in front of all of his friends.
Your
And I
brother
said,
didn't even need to get involved.
"Oh,
You're
no,"
like,
and I was like,
"Mm-mm."
"How dare you?" And I'm like, "You think that I would do bleep, bleep," I
Right.
read him the riot act in front of all of his friends that he went up to my brother at that dance, and he's like, "Your sister just cussed me out," da, 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 and my
Good.
brother's like, "She can defend herself, man, like, I don't
Yeah.
mess with my sister," and
Mhm.
not that I'm teaching I don't want my daughter to ever be in a position like that, but you need to find your voice, and
Yeah.
by being silent and letting them control that narrative as if, "Oh, yeah, I got far with her." No, you read them the right act right in front of their friends, and you tell him he has small D energy right in front of his friends. That's what you do, and you walk away because your silence, it does nothing for you. Being nice in those cases does nothing for you, ladies, does nothing for you, young ladies. It just doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to publicly humiliate him, but I did publicly humiliate him. I was
Well,
just
you know
so
what?
pissed.
Because men think they can get it, boys think they can get away with that.
Oh yeah,
That
you
you'll
see what
be
I
so
did?
embarrassed that you'll never say anything. Well,
No,
you weren't.
no.
And
I
good
mean,
for you. See,
I
I would have been mortified. I would have been in a corner like, "Oh my God, the world thinks I did that."
No.
Right?
Oh, hell
Yeah.
no. And I still, like, right now, I still remember the anger I felt in my stomach, and I can still see his weaselly little face that looks like just like Andrew Tate, probably. Like, no way are you going to say X, Y, and Z about me. So, if that's a message to all the young ladies and men out there, don't put up with that nonsense.